What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a different video for you guys, and bear with me. This is my first time doing a screen recording of a mock draft, so I thought it'd be cool. I like watching them, and I thought that you may like watching them as well. We are on Sleeper, the Sleeper app. I do recommend it for mock drafts for sure. It is a mock draft where, the ADPs and everything like that, they average out to be pretty good. You don't see the same picks every single time. You can come in here, customize your mock drafts however you want, whether it be PPR, half point PPR, multiple quarterbacks. It doesn't really matter. And you can pick where you're drafting in your draft. I am the 8th pick this year. If you want to add me as a friend, you can. TD10. We can mock draft together. You send invites. It's really easy, really fun little fantasy football app. I'm in one fantasy football league on this platform, and then also ESPN is the other platform that I use. And a lot of people, ESPN is great for mock drafts as well, but people don't really take it that serious. It's a slow mock draft, and with all of that being said, this is another cool little way you can send it to people, copy people, text them the link, and you can mock draft with your buddies really easy. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts, opinions on what I would do in this draft. I have 2 drafts coming up. One is going to be Sunday night. I'm filming this on a Friday night. And then I have one on a Monday night, this upcoming Monday night. So I'm kind of just practicing up. Thought that I would video it and share it with all of you as well. So let's jump right into the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Let me know if you like this video. I can do more. I can do more screen recordings as well. So let me know if you like it. Let's jump right into the video. Said that again, but anyway, so you can see it's pretty quick. And if you like Sleeper app, if you have messed around with Sleeper app, let me know your thoughts on it. If you're new to it, I would definitely recommend it. Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, those are the 3 guys that are going off the board. Basically, first 3 every single draft that I've did so far. Hopkins or Adams is usually the first wide receiver off the board. And then we have David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, and Ezekiel Elliott. I'll tell you this. If Ezekiel Elliott falls to me in my drafts at the 8th spot, I am to the point where I would definitely select him. I think that's very valuable, and I think he's worth the risk, put it that way. Melvin Gordon, not so much. Ezekiel Elliott's worth the risk. Right here, looking at who we have available, these are the top guys. I'm not really looking past this on this first pick. In my mind, it's between Davante Adams, James Conner, and Julio Jones. Odell Beckham wouldn't be a bad pick from me as well, in my opinion. I think James Conner is very underrated this year, and I think that he's going to get a lot of run. He is probably my boom candidate of the year when it comes to a guy that people may really start to recognize next year. I think he's going to have a really good year. But in this situation, I'm going to go ahead and go with Davante Adams. He is just Mr. Reliable. You know what you're getting with him. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a beast. And in the back half of this draft, it's definitely a good idea to go ahead and secure your wide receiver one. I mean, there's so many stud wide receivers in this draft. And also, earlier in the draft, it's probably a good idea to get the running backs. Looking at who else came off the board, Nick Chubb, Michael Thomas, James Conner, Tyreek Hill, Julio. That's a solid combo. And then James Conner and Dalvin Cook. Gurley, Juju Smith is gone. I usually tend to try to get a running back in these first 2 picks. And one of the things that I would definitely recommend, don't go into a draft with a certain strategy and not be willing to back off of it. At the end of the day, you always need to draft for value. And in my opinion, right now, Odell Beckham has some crazy value. At this 2.5 slot, I think that's a good deal. I think Julio and probably Julio is the only one that's better than him in my mind above these guys. Maybe Michael Thomas. Joe Mixon, he's going to be really good. He has no offensive line. That's what's going through my head right now. I'm trying to do this like a real draft. I would not want to go 2 wide receivers to start, but I am believing that I'm going to do that. Travis Kelce, it's too early for me. I'm not going to be going with a tight end early this year. I feel like it's 3 tight ends, and then basically they're all about equal. I'm okay with, spot starting tight ends each week and kind of just working the waiver wire. So I'm going to go with Odell. I hope my drafts do not go like this Sunday and Monday. I do not want to start off with 2 tight ends, or 2 wide receivers, I'm sorry. So looking at who else went off, Travis Kelce went right after Odell. Joe Mixon, Mike Evans is going to have a really big year, I believe. I'm really high on Mike Evans. Kerryon Johnson, Damian Williams, Pat Mahomes, AB, Fournette, Josh Jacobs. I was hoping Josh Jacobs would fall to me in this 3rd round. Josh Jacobs is going to be an absolute animal in that offense. They drafted him with the first round pick. And I think that he's got a lot of value. Aaron Jones as well is going to be a boom candidate for me. True breakout in Aaron Jones this year. T.Y. Hilton, Andrew Luck is still dealing with some injuries. He is falling back into some drafts. Right now, I do not like this spot. To be honest, I would rather have Josh Jacobs than Chris Carson or David Montgomery. But it's between those 2 guys for me. Marlon Mack as well. I'm not getting another wide receiver. If I was going to get a wide receiver, it would probably be. And Cooper's dealing with injuries right now. I mean, honestly, right now, in my mind, it's Marlon Mack, Montgomery, and Carson. I think Carson is going to be a really good running back this year. I think he's going to get a ton of targets, a ton of touches in the backfield. So I'm going to go with him. Then off the board went Melvin Gordon. I think that's too early. And again, this is just the computer automating what possibly could happen. Melvin Gordon is a guy that I am willing to take probably in the 5th or 6th round. I think he's going to come back, but it's going to be a while into the season. When you get him, you definitely need to secure his backups, his handcuffs. And I don't even know if his handcuffs are worth it. To be honest, Justin Jackson and Austin Eckler aren't going to be that good by themselves, in my opinion. So, Amari Cooper, Marlon Mack, George Kittle. He's another one of the top 3 wide receivers, or top 3 tight ends. David Johnson. I would have loved for David Johnson to fall down to me. Diggs, Ertz, and Edelman. So looking at it right now, this is what we have left. Running backs are pretty slim already. That's why it's very important to grab a running back early. I'm okay with a guy like Goss later on. I don't know why he is queued. Derrick Henry. He's a guy that I'm willing to take probably more in the 5th round. I would hate it if my draft went like this. This is why you do mock drafts, though. Right now, what I'm looking at is Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, or Chris Godwin. Woods is probably the guy that I would be going with, but I'm going to go Chris Godwin just for kicks and giggles. Let's see what happens tonight. Then Cooks, Henry, Mark Ingram, Roll Tide, Roll Tide. Kenny Golladay, Tyler Lockett is one of my bust candidates this year. There's no way that he catches as many touchdowns as he did last year with only having like 50-something receptions. They don't run the ball much. I think that's too high for Tyler Lockett. I would definitely rather have a guy like Mike Williams, Cooper Kupp. After that, Sonny Michel, Phillip Lindsay, Deshaun Watson is the 2nd quarterback off the board. Mike Williams, OJ Howard is a guy that I think is going to be a great um, tight end. This is a guy that's been falling to me actually in this fifth round more often than not, and that's a guy that I've been trying to snag on that fifth round pick at 5.8. And I think he is a guy. If there's any guy that could sneak into that top three slot as a tight end outside of Ertz, Kittle, and Kelsey, I think OJ Howard is a guy that can slide in there, and he would be my tight end of choice after those three. I'm not that high on Evan Ingram, as you see down here. AJ Green, a little early for me, but I'm if you have a solid team, which he's taking some risks with Ezekiel Elliott and AJ Green. If you have a solid team, I'm okay with taking AJ Green and kind of waiting him out. He's going to be a good quarterback or a good wide receiver once he plays if he can stay healthy. With this pick, I'm looking at Miles Sanders. I'm going with Miles Sanders. It's a pretty easy choice to me. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be a top 3 rookie running back this year outside of Jacobs and David Montgomery. The backfield's his to lose. Jordan Howard isn't going to be much. The Eagles are going to be good offense. Carson Wentz is going to have a big year in my opinion. And now I can start looking towards tight end with Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, but I still feel like I need to secure some position players. They go so quickly. In my league, we actually do QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and then 2 flex as well. We do a tight end. So having that extra wide receiver, extra running back to play in those two flex spots is very big for my league. I'm looking at Robbie Anderson. I think Allen Robinson is really good this year. I think he has a big year. I mean, let's not forget, he was a top wide receiver off the board a couple years ago until he had surgery on his knee, I believe. So it's worth a shot later on if he keeps falling. But looking at what we have right now, I'm going to go with Robbie Anderson, one of my breakout players this year. Sam Darnold has been really good this preseason. This is his favorite target. And I would be very satisfied with taking Anderson in the 6th round. Josh Gordon is a guy that you can also definitely take a risk on. Is he going to play? Is he going to get suspended halfway through the year? That's something that you don't really know. Now, 7th, 8th, 9th round is when I'm starting to at least think about quarterbacks. I'm not taking a quarterback early at all. I'm going to wait around on it, see what happens. I mean, look, Carson Wentz, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, injury waiting to happen with him. This is the same injury that kept him out all year 2 years ago. So Drew Brees, Carson Wentz, 2 very valuable quarterbacks in my mind here at the 7th round. And then you also have guys like Cam Newton. Look at another quarterback. Jared Goff is not a bad option as well. Russell Wilson. These are all household names that you're going to be able to get late in the draft. So let everyone else take QBs early and then snag one later on. One thing that I will say, I wouldn't have minded to grab Aaron Rodgers. If you're going to get one of these top wide receivers like Adams, Hopkins, even like a Julio, that is when I will be willing to reach for a Deshaun Watson, for a Aaron Rodgers, a Baker Mayfield if I get OBJ. So something to think about. I'm not going to get a quarterback just yet. I think Pettis is going to be pretty good this year. I think Dede Westbrook is going to be pretty good this year. Sterling Shepard is a steal. And I'm going to go ahead. Sure, I'll get a quarterback just to get it. I was talking, kind of ran out of time. something with this, you can pick, change this player and put whoever you want if you're really trying to see who you could get and what your team would look like. Trying to do it straight up for you guys, though. And as I look at this spot, this is probably one of my least favorite picks in the draft. After Carson Wentz, it was Christian Kirk. That was another guy I was thinking about. Caleb Lodge, Kenyon Drake. This is something to look at. Lodge just went ahead of Kenyon Drake, and I don't know. I'm not that much of a believer in Ballage. If he does get, a majority of the touches, he'll be okay. He's more of a pass-catching back out of Arizona State. And I think that Kenyon Drake, once he gets back, I think he's going to be a very, very valuable player to have, especially getting him in the 7th round. I think he's a really good athlete, catches a lot of balls, and he's going to be worth whatever you get him for this late. He's going to be worth that once he gets healthy. I think Josh Rosen or whoever starts in Miami is going to really rely on them. Then Luck, Pettis, Breeze. This is the guy, if you get Todd Gurley, you probably want to get him or Malcolm Brown. I should say that as well. Royce Freeman is a guy to take a chance on. I'm going to take a chance on him in the 8th round right here. And I hope D.D. Westbrook makes it back to me in the 9th. I don't really want a part of this if I'm getting the Philip Lindsay part of this backfield, but if I can get Royce Freeman in the 8th round, last year they were very high on him. This was their potential starter going into the season, and he didn't really do much out of Oregon. I am thinking that it's going to be a backfield that splits carries, and I'm willing to take a chance on him this late in the draft. Cam Newton, Geronimo Allison, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Westbrook did not fall to me. I didn't think he would, but that's who I would have probably targeted. I wouldn't have been mad to get Sterling Shepard, Njoku, and Eric Ebron. This is one of my bust tight ends of the year. I'm staying away from Eric Ebron. Getting him in the 9th round is pretty good value with how many touchdowns he caught last year. I think he caught 13 touchdowns with like 60-something receptions. Andrew Luck is not that healthy right now, and Ebron is going to go when Ebron is going to go when Andrew Luck goes, so that's something that I would be aware of, be cautious of, and be sure to pay attention to. Love Stanton in this round. He is a flyer, potentially going to be the number 2 wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. He and Allison have a potential to do whatever they want, but they're both going to be on the field at the same time. All 3 wide receivers are going to be lined up for Aaron Rodgers this year. So that's probably who I'm going to go with. Devin Singletary is a guy that I'm going to try to scoop up on the other side. And another guy that I'm looking at is James Washington out of Pittsburgh. So let's go ahead and snag Scantling, Corey Davis, Murray, Sanders. LaShawn McCoy is a good value in the 9th round, 10th round. If he gets to the 10th round and I can get him, he is the starter right now, kind of like Peyton Barber right now for the Buccaneers. And Ronald Jones is going before Peyton Barber in most leagues. I don't know why people are doing that. Last year, everyone was grabbing Ronald Jones and not grabbing Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber essentially was the starter all year long for the Buccaneers, so just keep an eye out for that. Jalen Samuels, a lot of people say that's going to be a backfield by committee. It's not even close right now between him and James Conner. James Conner got every single first-team snap this preseason so far when Ben Roethlisberger and Juju and all of them were playing. So 23 out of 23 snaps. Let's see here what I'm looking at. If you want to look at my team real quick, Adams, OBJ, Chris Carson, Chris Godwin, Miles Sanders, Robbie Anderson, Royce Freeman. This is my quarterback. I need some running backs. Not going to lie. Does not look good for me right now. That's why it's so tough to take 2 wide receivers in a row. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, though. So looking at it, Matt Breida, I love this pick right here as well. I didn't mention him. I think he's going to be really good. Tevin Coleman and Breida, I feel like they're going to be splitting carries a lot like Royce Freeman and Philip Lindsay. That's a backfield that can be won, and I think Breida is the guy that is going to be able to, kind of claim a role in that offense. Tevin Coleman's good, but at the end of the day, for the years now, he's been a backup in the Falcons offense. He has the same offensive coordinator, and I think they may use him a lot like they used him in Atlanta. After Breida, Singletary went. That was my next pick. Jameis Winston and Lamar Jackson, these are two guys that I would be thrilled with to be able to snag in the 10th round. My boom quarterback right here, he's going to be trying to get 1,000 rushing yards. He's going to have a lot of carries, probably just as many carries as your second or flex running back. And he's also going to be scoring touchdowns on the ground, which is very valuable. Jameis Winston's going to have a big year, in my opinion. If he stays on the field, stays healthy, stays out of trouble, he's going to be throwing O.J. Howard, Godwin, and Mike Evans. Those are three guys that are going to eat this year, and someone's going to throw him the ball. Snag Jameis Winston if you're waiting on a quarterback late in the draft. Phillip Rivers, he's going to play every game just like he always does. Someone to watch. Looking at what we have going on right now, I think Darwin Thompson is a guy in Kansas City. I don't think Damian Williams is going to lose the job, but I think if he does, this is the guy to have. Carlos Hyde was the second string running back in that offense, and he has now been jumped by Darwin Thompson. This is an upside pick for me. And that's something that you have to look at late in the draft. You should already have your team established. Draft these guys that have a huge amount of upside. Someone like N'Keal Harry, Austin Hooper. Just these tight ends, after it gets early, it's just whatever. And I don't have a tight end yet, and I'm not going to draft one, probably one more round or so. I don't care about Hooper. I'm just going to snag a tight end at the end and try to see what I can do on the waiver wire throughout the year and play matchups and play that game. Tony Pollard, it's great value. If you get Zeke right here, this guy, if he gets Zeke, he probably needs to stash Tony Pollard right here. You cannot miss out on Tony Pollard if you get Ezekiel Elliott, in my opinion. It's just one of those things. Some major value is someone like Damian Harris, Justice Hill, Kuti. He was a good target for Deshaun Watson last year at the end of the year, and I think that he could be very valuable, especially getting him with this much value at the 12th round. It's crazy. I feel like this draft is going to be pretty good all the way through. Michael Gallup is another guy to look at. Mecole Hardman is a guy that's going to be looking good for Mahomes. I'm going to try to get Andrews later on. Hawkinson, if he's here, I'll snag him as my next tight end. But I'm going to go ahead and get plenty of wide receivers, I feel like. Actually, I'll get QT. Golden Tate, after his suspension, he's going to be pretty good. Depending on if Eli or Daniel Jones plays, that'll be something to watch. So Hawkinson went right here, TJ, and Mark Andrews. So we're in a bind. Tight end, need a tight end, and I've already waited this long. I might as well wait a little bit longer, right? This is a guy to, kind of look at. Again, he's a guy, tight end for the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is a guy that likes to throw to his tight end. Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs is going to get the majority of that workload. Goddard is going to be really good. If Ertz ever gets hurt, this is a automatic tight end, top 5 tight end right here, Dallas Goedert. And Fant, rookie out of Iowa, he's a good option. Greg Olson is always a good option. Jordan Reed, I wouldn't be mad about trying to snag him late in the draft. Just got hit with a concussion today. Herndon will be out for, I believe, 4 week suspension. After that, he's going to be pretty good. Again, you can work the waiver wire, and I guess I'm going to wait around get Waller. Everything out of preseason training camp has been lights out for Waller so far, and I feel like you can get him basically with your last 2 picks. About like I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get Gallup right here. Actually, Dion Lewis is not a bad option. This late, what he was able to do last year, you can't always count on Derrick Henry. That's something with the Titans. You never know what they're going to do. So I think this will be a valuable pick later on. If something happens to Derrick Henry, this is a guy that I can put in my flex any day of the week, and he's going to be pretty good. So go ahead and snag him. And then let's snag a tight end real quick. There's still a lot of good names out there, and this is the last of the draft. So I'm pretty happy with what I have and what I would still be able to pick up off of the waiver wires. I'm not going to draft a kicker. I'm not going to draft a defense until the last 2 rounds. I'm not even going to draft a kicker. I'd rather get these guys, fill up slots, and then be able to see what happens later on in the preseason up until the first week of the season. Make that decision, drop whoever I need. Someone may get hurt, and go from there. So I guess I'll just snag a defense right now. If I had to make one more pick, though, Josh Allen, he'd probably be my pick. He is going to be good, I think. Malcolm Brown, he's also a really good pick. If you have Todd Gurley, I would definitely snag him, or Henderson is probably the guy, Darrell Henderson right here. Those 2 guys you need to be looking at if you have Todd Gurley. And that's about it. I'm gonna snag Gallup. He's gonna be the second wide receiver for Dak in that Dallas offense. Did I miss him? Oh, I did miss him. Wow. Not gonna draft Gallup. Okay, I'll give you another one. Ty Montgomery. This is another guy. If something happens to Le'Veon Bell, this is a clear cut. The running back 2 the second running back in that offense. This is a guy to get, and he's going to be valuable. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that just to get it over with. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to drop a like. Drop some comments on what you think about my team. I'm not that happy with my team. I'll be honest with you. I have solid wide receivers. Chris Carson's, I'm high on him, so I'm okay with that. I don't know if I want him as my first running back. Chris Godwin is going to be good. Miles Sanders, that is just a sketchy pick right there. I don't know what I'm going to get out of him. Robbie Anderson. Everything else is pretty sketchy. I don't really like my team. And I would be very disappointed if this was my real draft. This is why you do a mock draft, though, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't have the worst team in my mind. I think that if I had to pick the worst team, I guess this is not a very good team right here. This essentially would be his running back 1 and 2 right now. And this is a guy that's going to be a backup. And Duke Johnson just came in for Lamar Miller. Going to take a lot of targets away from him. This would be the worst team in my opinion. The best team, just so you can see the best team in my mind. I'm going to say this team right here. This is a solid team. He has 3 stud running backs. Brandon Cooks, who's very good. And then it kind of goes downhill from that, I guess. So that's something you're going to be able to notice. If you get really good running backs, you're not going to have that good of wide receivers most of the time. If you get really good wide receivers, you have slept on running backs. It's going to be tough. So do what you got to do. My main thing, I would say, draft for value. Don't go into the draft looking at, I have to get 2 running backs in a row. I have to get, running back, wide receiver every single time. I have to fill my slots. Do what you got to do in the draft. You never know what's going to happen, and then go from there. Anyways, I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts below, and let me know if you enjoyed this type of video. Peace.